Hello everyone, Luna here. So have you ever heard about Sea of Stars? It's an indie game clearly inspired by Chrono Trigger that was released in August of 2023. I want to make uh another edition of Moon Shards to after having recently completed this game over the course of the past few months. So let's talk about it. Sea of Stars, without going into any story spoilers, tells a story of a world protected by people known as Solstice Warriors, trained individuals who utilize the power of the moon and the sun to defeat powerful beings known as Dwellers, who threaten the very world should they go unchecked for a long period of time. And honestly, that's all I really want to say about the story, because if I go in more in depth, I could spoil it too much. So that's the basic premise of it. Now for the characters, Valier and Zale, the two people you see in the screen right now, are the main characters. And I'm kind of grouping them because they're kind of two sides of the same coin. As the game's main protagonist, they do a serviceable job as a protagonist while still being pretty likable. I don't think they're very interesting by themselves. They bounce off other characters pretty well. I'd consider them the Cloud version of protagonists. They're not super interesting by themselves, but they help others grow. And I do like one aspect of their character arcs that happens later in the game. So they do have some things that are interesting about them. Garl is a great party member, or I should say, great character. He's not really a great party member. He's just okay. Who always puts a smile on his face. He took a while to become a favorite of mine, but he's very likable and is a very charming addition to the team. Now, Sarai is probably one of my favorite characters, not just in this game, but in any RPG I've played. She's awesome. She's easily my favorite party member in the game. I won't go in too deep on her backstory because, again, it's best to be experienced pretty blind, but I'll just say it's a lot of turns. And then there is one more party member, but that would get into heavy spoilers. So I'll just say that they were a very pleasant surprise to the team. Now, the gameplay. Have you ever played of Chrono Trigger, Octopath, and the Mario RPGs? If you have, then you'll definitely like this game. And on top of that, they have really good puzzle solving that really takes advantage of the limited stuff you have on the overworld. It's insane what they accomplish with it. And the music is incredible. It's amazing. It's catchy, energetic, and always hits for me. Some of my personal favorites of the soundtrack include, but are not limited to, the Level Up theme, Moon Cradle's both day and night theme, Across the Moorlands, Town of Lucent, Songshroom's Wonders, both day and night, The Acolytes, Aferol Returns, Elegy of the Hero, Sinister Unknown, Encounter Elite version 2.1, The Storm Calls for You, Descent of the Dweller, Malevolent Confrontation, Triumph Encompassed, Eminent Rise of the Triumvirate, I don't know how to pronounce that, and Fury of the Fleshmancer. And honestly, it makes a ton of sense why the soundtrack is so good, because Yasunori Mitsuda, apologies if I got that wrong, aka the composer of Chrono Trigger itself, helped work on the game. I mean, I know that that's the person, but if I mispronounced it, that's my bad. Give it a listen, even if you don't want to buy the game, because there's some really good stuff here. And finally, the presentation, the sprite work is amazing. Easily one of the prettiest sprite-based games I've ever played, and I mean that with no exaggeration. Sprites are animated beautifully. There's a bunch of 2D animated cutscenes. I think they're hand-drawn. They look hand-drawn. They're really good. However, I absolutely have some small gripes with the game. In my opinion, getting the true ending had a few things involved in it that I didn't really care for. Mostly some collectathon stuff, and another thing that's a bit of a spoiler. Another small criticism I have is the game doesn't have any voice acting. It's not really a deal breaker, however, it is something I wish the game had, even if it was only for small important story moments. And then one last criticism I have is the game lacks a conventional fast travel feature. The game does many things to mitigate this, but it would have been nice to have, especially later on, when getting the true ending. However, in my opinion, all these gripes are not enough to prevent the game from being a fantastic ride from start to finish. A solid 8.5 out of 10. The only reason it's not a 9 is because I think the parts of the true ending, getting that is a bit tedious. So if you haven't already, I would highly suggest getting Sea of Stars. It's super cheap, only $35, and the game is around 40 hours if you go for the true ending. 35 is just main ending. And it's easily worth the price. So, hope you all have a great week. Thanks for watching.